And action.
This episode is sponsored by Maties Gymnasium. What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of JR's Corner. Today I'm sitting here with a very special guest, Miss Nerine Koopman, Maties netball player. Very special young lady. Today she's going to tell us a bit about her journey. And yeah, welcome, Nerine.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yo, privileged to be here. I've seen a lot on the social medias, JR School, and I was like, no, I have to be here. I have to be here. So I'm Nerine Koopman. I'm from Ceres originally. Backstory. When I was 7 years old, I knew I was going to play netball. All my family, they were sports people.
Yeah.
So I was like, surely I have to play netball, and I haven't missed a year since then.
Sure.
This is probably the longest time now. I'm injured at the moment that I'm out.
Yeah.
But yeah, from Ceres, grew up in Ceres, went to school, high school, primary school, everything.
Charlie Hofmeyer.
Charlie Hofmeyer. I went. My first primary school was Morrisdale, and then I went to Gerika.
Okay.
And then after that, high school was in Charlie Hofmeyer.
Nice, beautiful man. Also, jy is eintlik van my mense Ceres, Stellenbosch, Wolseley.
Plattelandse meisie.
Nice. Okay, now 100%. So you gave me the background of obviously where you come from, you know. And I just want to know a bit about your love for sport, you know, and how you obviously got into netball and maybe other types of sport that you played.
So netball was just a love at first sight type of thing. When I started, as I said, grade 1, I started and I haven't looked back since. And my family was very supportive, so it was always encouraged. And I just fell in love and I never stopped. Other sports that I played, I did some ballet. So ek het op my twinkies my maat gevoel ek moet 'n bietjie netjies ook wees. So she put me in ballet classes, which helped with the netball. And I did karate, which was the total opposite. So I don't know what her plan was with that, but that also helped me with my aggression and my balance and strength and stuff. And yeah, that was about it for sports-wise.
Yeah. Okay. Now shout out to mom and dad.
Yeah.
And the family for supporting you. Growing up in Ceres, obviously I also come from a small town as Ashton. So I know there's not much happening. So obviously, you know, the sports field, I know all your energy was put into that. Outside of the sport of netball, what else did you like to get up to, you know, growing up and leading up into, you know, where you found yourself here at the great Maties?
Yes, the Maties institution. Growing up, I played a lot. So in a small town, I have a brother.
Yes.
So I used to play with him and all his friends, you know. And
alle sporten.
We swim. I used to be a swimmer in my day. In primary school, 'n stukkie borsslag gedoen. So I swam a lot. I love summer, so I did athletics as well. I don't know. Now, recently, I like fashion. Okay. So now that I'm working, I like to get into fashion. I like cooking also. So I go van huiskos. Right. You can bribe me anytime with food.
Okay. So you're a foodie, maar
I'm a foodie.
I see on the TikTok the vibes, the TikTok vibes on the social media. I see you leading the vibe situation.
I mean, what's life without vibes? Life is already tough. So I just feel like if you bring a lekker gees, you bring a lekker energy, you can just make it a bit easier.
Nah, 100%, man. That's awesome. Now we enjoy seeing the clips and the dancing and the fun, you know. It's really good. And I mean, coming to Maties, was it always your dream to come to Maties, to come represent the maroon machines, as I say?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
and how was the journey that got you here?
In high school, or actually it started in primary school. I was in grade 7, and my coach at the time, Juffrou Krishna, she took us to this court, and we watched the Varsity Cup game. And since then I was like, I have to come here. And then in high school, you obviously watch netball and you watch them play. Yeah. So I watched Maties and Stings a lot on TV. Okay. And I just knew it's been a dream of mine. So actually playing for Maties netball was a dream come true.
Yeah. Okay, now awesome. So I know you mentioned Stings now. So,
yes.
So just give us a breakdown of who is Stings, because I know you represented them, one of the teams. And okay, but before we move ahead to Stings, let me not.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's te vinnig vooruit gaan.
Te vinnig.
Yes. Hou het 'n bietjie stadiger, backtrack 'n bietjie. You say you were obviously telling me about Juffrou Krishna, you guys came here. So what was the process for you to coming here after that?
Oh, so, okay, that was primary school. I
Yeah.
saw, okay, I wanted to be here, but I also knew I had to get the marks to get into
Yes.
an institution like
Yes.
this.
Yeah.
So high school, I worked really well. I
Papiertjie te
was,
kry.
yeah.
Mm.
So I knew that academically, I've also been quite strong academically.
Yeah.
So then I came here to study accounting, and I actually signed up on the open day. They didn't know who I was because small town, klein dorpie,
Yeah.
hulle ken nie.
Yeah.
So I didn't know I was. I signed up and I played trials and all of that stuff. So that was sort of the process.
Okay.
I first started at Maties Junior, so that's
Yeah.
the third team. So
Okay.
again, they were just like,
So that's like, was that like on the 20s or on the 20s?
so that it's like the first years.
Oh, okay.
So that's the Maties Junior, so
Okay.
the third team.
Yeah.
Started there. Then during the year, I got pulled up. They had
Yeah.
trials again for USA. Then
Okay.
I got pulled up to Maties 2.
Okay.
And I actually played all three teams in 1 year. So
Sure.
I got pulled up to Maties 2. Then I trialed again, Varsity Cup, netball.
Okay.
And then I got pulled up again there, and I was in the Varsity Cup squad in first
All that
year.
in your first year?
All that in my first year.
Yeah.
So from
Ivy?
a small schooltjie, waar jy
Ja.
fiks uit gedoen het, so 1 keer 'n week.
Yeah.
Till here where you have to literally run these lines.
Proper strength and conditioning.
Kykie, and heavy don't play.
Yeah.
One thing about heavy.
Yes.
That's how SNC, those who don't know.
Yeah. Shout out to Mr.
So,
Ev.
Shout out Uncle Heavy. So yeah, then it was a lot of training, so it was quite a shock.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, no, so that's beautiful, man. That your whole journey coming from Ceres. Like I mentioned before, you're the second Charlie and the second.
Shout out
Hoe
to
word
Kyle.
julle genoem? Ceres Sita?
Ceres Sita.
Ceres Sita.
Ceres
Okay,
Sita.
nou, I get him
Ceres
nogal
Sita.
reg. I get him reg. Nice. So coming here, obviously the Maties setup, you know, it's obviously small town girl, you know, plaas
Ja.
meisie. Stellenbosch is nou die ligte en is die lane en is alles wat jy nou hier sien. How was that adapting into coming here and experiencing, obviously, you know, I don't want to say the city life or the bigger scale, yeah.
Well, I must say I was very fortunate to have parents who wat vir my gesê het hou jou voete plat.
Oh yes, yeah.
So my ma sê het altyd vir my gesê hou veel plat soos 'n menora bly.
And
my dad, yes, and my dad was very strict. So he was always like, solank jy slaag, jy's daar vir akademie,
yes,
and then the
sure.
sport comes. So I was always grounded in that sense, with them. So, maar dit was 'n baie groot aanpassing because now it's social life, as klein Saterdag.
Oh yes.
It's a lot of elements that you get
Yeah.
exposed to and that I wasn't used to, but luckily, as I said, I had the right people around me to navigate that.
Nah, beautiful, man. It sounds like you found your way, you know, jy het jou kop gehou in die
Ja,
hele
kyk ek het foto
situation.
gemaak ook langs die pad, laat ek ook nou nie.
Yes.
Dat was foto, maar
Of course.
ek voel that's part of life.
Yes,
You
yes.
love and you learn and you sort of get over that.
You have to experience all of it, you know, to be able
100%,
to
100%.
to understand what it's about, you know. And obviously you touched on heavy your strength and conditioning.
Yeah.
How did that affect you from obviously coming in as a first year netball player, you know? Obviously a bit uncertain still, you know, trying to find your way. And the Maties Gymnasium, how that worked out into your conditioning and you becoming obviously a better player.
So again, the small town wasn't exposed at all, but then coming here, the facility is amazing. So Maties Gym, all of the equipment that they give to us, like it was really amazing how we were exposed to all of that I've never been exposed to. So that really helped me build my strength. And obviously we got to they showed us how to do the stuff properly, the form and all of that.
Yeah.
And then from a conditioning point of view, kyk ek het nog nooit sulke fitness gedoen nie. That was something else. Like I really had to get used to it. It took time to get used to it, but it made me a better player. I think Maties is one of the best programs out there.
Sure. Nationally or like internationally, how would you rate the Maties, say, netball program compared to, I mean, the big countries, obviously, that I know that plays netball is the European countries, New Zealand, Australia, you know, you say the tri-nation teams.
So from Maties' point of view, I know there was a few years we actually tried to not simulate New Zealand, but they do look at all the different standards. So I have to say, like, our program is quite up to par, and every year we try and adapt to get a new program. I've been here long now, so I've seen how we've evolved and what we've
training methods.
Yeah, training methods that we
Yeah.
sort of changed or that worked and what didn't work.
Yeah.
So I must say that they adapt quite well.
What do you think from, like, say, they call it the black ferns now?
Yes.
What? Yeah, ik weet ja.
Ferns, okay,
Ik
well
get
done.
them. I
Well
get them.
done. Shout out.
And the ladies, the Australians.
The Australians, Aussies.
Are they
I
just
think
the
they're
Aussies?
just the Aussies, yeah.
Okay, all right. But anyway, so what from the black ferns? Could you guys take from them? Like what makes them? Are they the world champions?
So
Oh,
it's
no.
between them and Australia.
Okay.
England is doing quite well at the moment
Yeah.
also. But I think what we took from them at that time, it was about 2019, 2020,
Yeah.
was their fitness. They are
Okay.
quite strict
What
when
do
it
they
comes
do?
to
Do
their
they do
fitness
broncos?
levels.
Do they run?
Broncos, yo-yos,
shuttles?
a lot of those things.
Yeah,
So
okay.
repeated sprints.
Yeah.
We adapted that into our program.
Okay.
I would say.
And like what I don't, because obviously I've watched netball, seen
Yeah.
netball, but the technicals around netball and the structure, because obviously I come from a rugby background, so we know
Yes.
you play a structure, you know, you have a set phase, you have this, you have that. Football, you have a corner kick. I
Yeah,
don't know,
that's-
wat moet jy van die hoekie af om, jy gooi van die hoek af of het jy set plays om te sê, alright, die bal gaan nou na JR toe, dan gaan dit na Nerine toe, dan gaan dit na die doel toe. Is dit, het jy soos 'n combination
Yes.
wat jy call en sê, alright, ons speel nou you know, it's a boomerang or it's
Yes,
whatever,
we
you
do
know?
have those.
Okay.
So we have strategies with netball. It's such a technical sport, and
Yeah.
by means underestimated
Yeah.
because you have to make decisions within 3 seconds.
Sure.
Daar is jy maak na 3 secondes 'n beslissing.
Yes,
Within 3
as boom,
seconds,
boom, boom.
you have to constantly make decisions.
Yeah.
So with us on attack, we'll say, okay, let's go tight or let's go wide.
Okay.
Dat beteken jy speel nou die
Weier.
baan wyd.
Okay.
Of in defense, we'll say go one-on-one. So
Okay.
then we put pressure on
Yeah.
that person. So as baie keer as jy hoor mense sal skree one-on-one or press or whatever,
Yes.
then you go to your person.
Okay.
Who's 7-7.
Yes.
And then sometimes we'll do area defense. So
Yeah.
that's when we're filling up the area and then
Yeah.
with die span is confused waarom toe om te
Okay,
gaan.
so julle
So
gee-
Tux does that actually very well.
Okay.
They do a nice area defense and it's quite difficult to see where the space is.
Mm.
I think we more one-on-one with Maties. It's like one-on-one tight defense. We like to put pressure on you.
Okay.
So yeah, each team has a different strength.
Yeah. Now actually, you actually opened it up a bit more, you know, because if you hear it from that perspective, if you just watch, as je net kijkt, if you just watch
Yeah.
it, you don't
It
really
looks just
Yeah,
chaos.
it just looks like, yeah, die girls gooi maar net die bal aan, pop, 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 gooi die bal in, boom,
Oh
punt.
no.
But actually, by the way you explaining it now, from a basketball perspective, like this is where I'm trying to, you know,
Yeah.
because like if you take it like from the NBA, that's how
It's
the
quite
type
similar.
of, yeah, very similar, and like handball, you know, they
Yeah.
also have a structure and how they play and how they press and how they, you know.
Yeah, so there's a lot of strategies that
Sure.
we go through and even setups on attack where we say,
Yeah.
okay, the wing attack gets the ball first. So I'm a wing attack center.
Yes.
So I'm the main attacker in that sense. So I have to make sure that the ball gets to the shooters.
Okay.
And then, because if everyone just does their own thing, it will be a mess.
Yeah, yeah.
So there is quite a lot of thinking and structure when
Yeah.
it comes to netball.
Interesting. That's
Yeah.
you really educated me, and I'm sure many other people
Yeah.
that doesn't understand the fundamentals of netball. You know, just a bit off the court. I know you guys. I see the videos. You guys have a lot of fun post game. What routines do you have specifically that you follow? Maybe pre-game routines, you know, leading up to the game, big matches.
Yeah.
Like for instance, and what's the difference between if you prep for a Maties game and the Stings game? You know, is there anything you did different maybe?
So just on the Stings part, to those who don't know, so Stings is a semi-professional team.
Yes.
And Telkom Netball Link, it's actually active now. They're playing their second league now. I'm injured at the moment, so I'm not partaking
Yeah.
in that. So it's one of the best leagues in South Africa, the best league, netball league in South Africa,
Yeah.
and also in Africa, arguably.
Mm.
Yeah. So that's where Stings is coming from. Then
Yeah.
when it comes to my prep, I would say I have the same prep for both. I try and keep it similar. So
Yeah.
I listen to a bit of gospel. I make sure I go to the bathroom early enough when I'm
Okay.
nervous,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
especially. Especially. And then I don't have weird like rituals or anything, but what I do have is a hairstyle. So depending on the tournament, if I see that maybe a slick back works today, and I say I play well, I'll keep that hairstyle for the whole tournament.
Okay.
So that's one of my, and a lot of netball players actually do that. They have one hairstyle that they keep.
But like me, I have one hairstyle.
I'm a keuse. I wish actually. Sometimes
I
I'm
have
like,
one
yo,
hairstyle.
it's
Listen,
effort to do hair. It's
if I
effort.
play good, if I play bad, does the hairstyle has to work. Ik kan my baard miskien 'n bietjie change. Okay, so you say okay, now you stick to the one hairstyle,
Yes,
and
yes, that's kind of my thing.
that's like your lucky.
That's my
like
lucky
the lucky
charm,
socks
yeah.
that you
When
know.
I don't play well, then I switch it up.
Is it? And shoes, is there specific shoes that you do? You have one pair of netball shoes, or like obviously the outdoor, indoor different, you know.
Yeah.
But do you have like a lucky pair to say, hey, ek stick my fitness nou so in vandag, of ek maak my fitness so
No,
vas?
not at all. I do like playing in Essex.
Okay.
So that's a shoe that I like playing in.
Okay.
I've always
Shout out
played
to
in
Essex.
Essex.
Essex sort us uit met 'n paar
You're
tekkies, man.
actually, julle is die sponsor.
Baie duur.
Netball is
Boots
expensive.
en tekkies, alles is
Ja.
duur. Alles sal moet step up, man. Yeah, okay. So you were telling me about the Stings and Stings. So what other teams outside the Stings? What's the other names? Soos Municipales, Thomas, blah,
Yes.
blah, blah.
So we have two teams in the Western Cape. So it's Stings and Tornadoes.
Okay.
And
Ek ken die
then-
Tornadoes ook.
Yeah,
wel,
so
ja,
it's
ek
those two
ken
in the
hulle
Western
ook.
Cape, and then
Yeah.
each province has their own team. So at
So
the
what-
moment, the Fireballs and
Oh, yes.
Jaguars, Dallas, Meer Gauteng,
Okay.
Joburg, Pretoria, them.
Yeah. So and Stings is Cape Town
Cape
area.
Town area.
En Tornadoes is
No,
Boland
it's
area.
actually both Stings and Tornadoes is Western Cape. So then the teams get selected
Oh,
ac-
okay.
according to that.
So wat se span is beter?
At the moment, Stings.
Okay.
Statistically, Stings
Alright,
is better.
stats, yeah. Based on stats, not
Based
like
on stats,
nothing funny. Yeah.
yeah. Stings
Yeah.
is more the better team, but Tornadoes is actually also growing quite nicely
Yeah.
at the moment. So yeah.
If you, who is the head of netball South Africa?
Cecilia.
Cecilia.
That's the
okay.
ik kan naam vergeet. Cecilia.
Imagine if you were the president of netball South Africa, like today, what would you change?
If I was a president for Netball South Africa, I would love to make netball professional. I think netball is getting so little exposure, and it's one of the biggest sports in South Africa, male and female. Every school has netball, so I can't understand how aren't we professional yet. And I know they're working towards
Yeah.
it, but if my wish and my dreams could come true, that's to make netball professional, to make a living out of netball in South Africa without having to go to Australia, to New Zealand, to England, to actually just play here and make a living out of that.
Sure. As the other countries, or is it professional in the other countries?
So in Australia, in New Zealand, and in England, you can actually play professionally.
Yeah.
So then a lot of our girls are there. A few of South African netball players are in England. I think some is in Australia.
Yeah.
So it is possible.
Yeah. So it's just for the right people to come on board in terms
Yes,
of funding.
funding
Yeah.
and exposure.
Yeah.
And it's all about, the other thing is also getting the stadiums full. So
Mm.
there is a lot of, Varsity Cup, for example. Our tickets get sold out in 2-3 minutes.
Yeah,
When it's
yeah.
Varsity Cup time, the
Yes.
stadium is full.
Yeah.
So there is a demand for it.
Yeah.
There is a demand for
Sure,
it.
amazing. Just backtracking, I know you said you like to listen to gospel music when you get started,
Yes.
just to keep you calmer. What's your favorite tracks? What's your your go-to tracks?
So I have a playlist.
1, 2, or 3, of the top.
I have a playlist, so I go to Maverick City. So I have
Okay.
a Maverick City
Nice.
playlist, and I love Jaira.
Oh yes.
Because that also grounds me. And then if I'm stressed or nervous, Breathe. Also by Maverick City, because that also, it literally reminds me to just take a
Chandler
step.
Moore.
Yes, to just say, how awesome, alles gaan right wees. Because
Yeah.
every athlete gets nervous. They
Yeah.
kan nou maar wat sê.
I actually listen to gospel as well, just to, because I can't listen to hype music
No,
too much.
I need to
'cause
calm
yeah,
myself and get
then
myself in the
also
zone.
Maverick City, God will work it out. That's
Yes, that
That's
is
like
what
a
we do.
go-to, you know.
That is 100%.
All right, and just like a last question before we basically wrap up our conversation. It was really good sitting down with you today. What pressure comes with being a student athlete and like mental health? How does that tie into just being a student
Yo.
athlete and the stresses?
So obviously, student athlete, it's supposed to be 50-50 on paper, balance, but it's not. It's not. So I think the expectation of satisfying your coach and then also satisfying your parents or satisfying the books. That is a lot of pressure, and mentally that can become very exhausting, especially when it's close to competition time. Then you really want to perform in your sports, but then you sometimes have exams, so then it is really challenging to overcome that. Yeah.
100%. Okay, nice, true. Okay, guys. And there's actually a few. There's a few questions that I still wanted to ask you. Your role models, obviously outside of your parents. I'm sure your parents,
they
probably number ones. Outside of your parents, who did you look up to? Who do you look up to in terms of sporting role models, or anyone in in the world?
So, there's a lot, but I actually was never the one who looks up. People will say Serena Williams or this one and that one. But I like to look at my immediate environment. So I always had mentors that I had throughout, my coaches, the players that I played with. So currently, like at Maties, my teammates, shout out Mojo, shout out Lali, Shasha, like all of them. I can name all of them.
You can name them.
We're gonna sit here all day.
The Maties netball girls.
Yes, I try to find inspiration from where I am in that point of time.
Nice.
So I always look up to those.
That's actually that's profound, because I think, like you said, we tend to look outside, for people that you can't even meet and see and only see on the TV. But you actually have people that are inspiring, that's like everyday people, And on that note, a last word of motivation from Nerine Koopman van die Ceres.
I would just say keep on going and never give up. Always, you never know what can happen throughout the journey. You never know who you can meet, what life lessons you can learn. And it's all about the journey. So never give up, keep on going.
There we go. Thank you so much, Nerine.
Thanks
for sitting down with me. And the Ceres Corner, guys, like, follow, subscribe. Check out Ceres Corner. Peace and love.